the cloud. Hi everyone, we are April 12th, and this is the bi-weekly K8s Infra meeting. Like always, just a reminder, this meeting is under the code of conduct and will be published later on YouTube, so be nice to everyone while you take the mic. Okay, do we have a note taker before we start?
I volunteer as tribute.
Thank you. Before we jump into the different item, do we have new people in the call that want to introduce themselves? Okay, so next would be billing report. I think the one thing we want to notice and basically give an update about what happened is, like, we will see impact of the rollout of partial traffic redirection from case.gci.io to the new registry, and you will see cost going down to 2K daily. If I'm gonna say this, filter this, and just, yeah. Sorry, BigQuery processing the data. So we have the rollout happened in two phases. I think first phase was the week of March 27, and the second redirection happened in the week on April 1. So we'll see that we go from 6K daily to now 2,050 daily, which is a huge improvement since the beginning of the year. And I think with that, I think we can officially announce we now have the cost fire under control. We may not go out of budget by end of the year if we are not doing anything wrong or accidentally. So, yay. I don't see joy in this call about this. This is sad. Okay. This is like, this is a filter per service. If I go to page 3, and page 3 is a new page that basically giving you graphic based on project instead of service. So page 3 is about services, page 3 will be about project, thanks to Justin. So shout out to him for the new page on the billing report.
Yes, it's an experimental one. If people like it, sorry. If people like it, we can keep it. If they don't, we can. It's just an experimental one I put up there. I think it was useful for seeing this. If people like it, we can keep it or do more like it. But yes, just to let people know it's not a static thing.
My opinion is like we should keep it. Like it's just like I gained 2 clicks because in the page you have to basically filter per project and services, and right now I don't need to do that. So I'm happy we have this. Let's go to the monthly. Oh no, sorry. No, it's page 6. I think the easy way to show how this is impactful is to like, how I'm not sure I can put it. If I pick March 1 to March, I would say March 13. You will see the difference. Like, so last month, in I would say 13 days, we were basically going over $100,000, just that. And now this month, just 11 days, including weekend, we just go by half of that. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because that's a huge win for us. So I'm assuming by end of the month will be around $150,000 of monthly expense, starting this month and going forward until end of the year. So that's basically keep us under budget by, I think, 20% or something like that. I didn't do the calculation, so we need to come back on that first meeting of May. So as like do an analysis in April and see how we can have a forecast for the rest of the month. But I think ballpark calculation, I think we are fine right now. Okay, any question about billing report before we move forward?
On billing, if we just, you're asking about where we're going to go. If we skip over to the graphs, according to the calculation, if we keep burning at the rate that we burned last week, we will be at 2.2 by the end of the year. Which is
that's
great.
We're gonna be lower than that.
Yeah. If we keep burning where we are, which is great, because we're gonna go.
No, even with the spend we're gonna be under 2.2 millions by end of the year.
Yep.
So I think I would say the burning rate, which is changing every month, basically. So this is like based on working, but I think we should just have a calculation based on the month. Yeah, based on the month starting with April. From that, we can have a forecast instead of doing an analysis based on the past weekend or on the past week. So
yeah, I think we can, because we only recently changed, but yes, when we're done with April, it might be good to do a year forecast based on the spend from a bi-monthly, bigger win, a rolling 4 weeks or something like that.
Okay. Any question regarding billing report, cost graphs? Okay. Do we have AI review too? I don't see anything planned. Do we? I don't think there was something to be done.
No, I don't think so either. I think we were all still holding for registry, and once registry unfroze, then it's this thing called KubeCon, and then after KubeCon, we'll probably have more AIs after that.
Okay. Okay, so I think we can drop to the open discussions. The first one is me, so just going quick and say, I put a document for annual report. Feel free to put any data you have on that. The deadline is end of this month, so I'm hoping we have the annual report fine and ready for approval before end of the month. Yeah, we have still remember in the car, so we need to hype up. So let's make sure we merge that before end of the month. I think deadline is April 24, right? If I remember, I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
So, okay, let's have that done by next meeting. And that's all for me. Anyone has a question for the annual report? Okay, next. Next item is like me. Also, I forgot to put my name, but it's some kind of FOI about basic. We have a walking session next week during Kubernetes Summit. So April 18. It's hosted by Jeffy, is the one running that. I put the location, their detail. I'm not sure I'm going to be there because I'm doing operation for Kubernetes Summit. So I'm supposed to run another room. So I will try to do my best to show up. If you have any question about this, talk to Jiffy. I don't think it's possible for us to stream that, but again, try. I think that's like a on-site problem they need to figure out.
Yeah, I figure truly worst case, laptop and Zoom, and then we'll make do. I did send an email out to the K8s Infra mailing list as well. So if you're there and you're not doing anything, show up.
Okay, I don't see any questions, so I think we can jump to interesting item.
Thank you. Yes, so I actually got pinged by someone from Cloud Run who was interested in how, like Cloud Run DevRel, who was interested in how we are using registry kits.io, and I think they wanted to publicize that. And it occurs to me that we do not currently publish any of those metrics. So I was wondering if we should publish some of those metrics into, like the safe ones, into, which is basically not the logs, publish the metrics into BigQuery so we can report on them from Looker. There's no easy integration. It basically is going to be a cron job or a cloud scheduler job, but there are some samples. And my feeling is if we eventually decide that we like something better than BigQuery and Looker, which I am eager to see that day, then we should it should be fairly simple to move to that thing. But yeah, I wanted to know whether people would want to see these metrics, whether we think we should be publishing them, that sort of thing.
I think the quick answer is yes. Now the question is about how. I mean, there are multiple options here. I don't have a strong opinion about this. And it's kind of weird, like Cloud Run is asking for this, because I have a lot of feature requests about metrics related to Cloud Run. So,
well, I mean, that's I think the great thing is if we open this conversation, that will be a good conversation, a good channel to have open. This is DevRel, so it's not like it's the Cloud Run PM, but it's at least like one step closer to having that channel open. And yeah, it would either be a cloud. Google has published a thing where Cloud Scheduler sends a pub sub message to a job running in Cloud Functions, and it seems a little ornate. And the obvious answer would be a Kubernetes pod, but honestly, either one would probably work. So I don't know how people feel. I could also just do a one-time export of some safe subset, and then we could see what we want to do from there, type thing.
Okay, so there's a one thing we never really talk about is basically we export the logs in the BigQuery dataset for production. So ideally, we can copy that to a safe dataset, anonymize, and use that as a data source for publishing to that and to Locker.
That is a excellent point. I did not realize that. It won't give us all of them because I don't know if it records like the number of pods or whatever they're called that are running, instances that are running, but maybe.
No, we collect the information coming from the load balancer, but we don't use the information coming from the Cloud Run services.
So we could get RPS.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We have feature requests for Cloud Run itself. Because
yeah, I mean the metrics are there, right? We just have to get the metrics into something BigQuery-ish.
Yeah, if you need to expose the Cloud Run metrics, the Cloud Service metrics, we can have an exporter. Yeah, Grafana can basically use GCP as an exporter, and we can use Grafana to expose those metrics. That's my easiest solution. Now we can figure out how we can have one job interacting with Cloud Run API, getting those metrics and putting that in BigQuery.
Yeah, I can definitely do the BigQuery export. I am not very familiar with Grafana, but yeah, like if we could use Grafana, that sounds like a good plan because Looker is not great at collaboration, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It could be better. It could be better.
Yeah. My answer is yes. Like the how is now need to be discussed. So there are multiple options here. So
okay, I'll try to whip up a prototype or something. Thank you.
Any question regarding this? Okay, Gabriel, you next.
Hi. I wanted to discuss one of the issues I've been working on. It's about enabling tag policies for the new AWS organization. So I wanted to know what are the next steps. I have created a organizational unit called policy staging, and in that organizational unit, an AWS account to test the tag policies. So what I've been working on is creating tag policies plus service control policies to enforce tagging at creation time of the resources that we want to enforce tagging. So far, I have EC2, some resources from EC2 instance, volumes, and VPCs. EKS clusters from EKS, repositories from ECR, and S3 buckets. And that's all because I wanted to start small and to test them first. And I guess that the tags that we are going to enforce, we have to enable cost allocation for those tags. I don't know if you have any, I don't know, some suggestions, or you want some more details about what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna give context here. Is basically open an issue about tagging policy on AWS because I wanted to be, I wanted us to have basically tag on any resource we create so we can easily establish ownership at the group level and also at the individual level. Right now, we are focused on group levels, basically which SIG or working group own a specific resources. So Gabriel has been working on that for, I think, 2 months now. He came up with, if you check the issue, you will see basically the pull request is open to enable this. I think right now the I would say next step is basically enforce them on any resources possible, so be able to attach that policy to organization unit. The one thing I would like to do is ultimately have any account under an organization unit and any resource in any account tag if possible.
Yeah, and I have, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. Tagging throughout AWS services, it's not very consistent. I mean, S3 has, for instance, S3, for example, you can't enforce tags or tagging a bucket at creation time because I don't know. Well, I don't know why, but you can't. So with the tag policy enforcement or with service control policies. EC2, for instance, you can, and with the tag policy enforcement and plus the service control policy, you can make enforcement at creation time, and you will get an error that it doesn't really it isn't related to tagging, but you will get an error. And in newer services like ECR or EKS, you will get an error related to that. You will get an error that that some tag is needed, or that maybe the value of the tag that you're trying to set, it's wrong. So it's a little difficult to create those policies because it's not consistent through the AWS services. So that's why I wanted to start small.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that because it's basically the current state of AWS API. They're not. I think there's a lack of consistency at some point about specific resources. I don't have a problem. That's why I'm saying basically, if possible. I want to emphasize of if possible. If it's not possible, that's fine. The good thing is we have AWS folks working with us, so we can just report that and see what's happening. As long as we can tag the resources and we have a tag applied, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. If it's not possible, it's also fine. We can talk to the AWS folks about this. Maybe we get special treatment. I don't know. But I mean, the end game here is basically have any resource tag. That's what I want. Now we can have that as consistent, but we need to get yourself used to the fact that any resource should be tagged. Because we're gonna have a lot of resources create, and it's gonna be confusing to track all of them. It's already confusing for GCP, so I would like to basically not make the same mistake we have. I don't think it's a mistake. It's more like tagging was not present at the beginning of this working group and at the beginning of the infrastructure. So now we have the opportunity to introduce that approach. Let's do it.
Okay, so should we try to attach those policies to other organizational units or maybe an AWS
Yep.
account?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I will follow up on that in the issue.
This will I will want to say that this will maybe affect it will affect the way that some of us create resources, because if the tag is enforced, maybe you will get an error. And something that bothers me is that some services like EC2 doesn't give an error related to the what is going on. So
that's okay, as long as we can iterate and basically see what's happening. If we cannot create a resource because a tag is missing, it's a good thing. That's mean basically someone will reach out to one of the org admin to basically see what's happening. I mean, that's good. If a tag is not present, we can investigate that. Maybe we can detect that with like a role on AWS config or something like that, and have basically alerting based on that. I don't think that, I mean, I understand the concern, but that's not the real issue for me. Yeah, Justin, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, so just to confirm, like a tool like K8s will have to add this tag to all of our jobs?
For the E2E test, yes.
Okay. I don't know if we support that today, but we can make it happen. So yeah, yeah, we support it for some tags, but yeah, unless it happens to be the right tag, then yes, I will. We probably want arbitrary tags. Do we know what that tag is going to be today?
Yes, if you check the pull request, you will see we only enforce.
We only have two: group,
group and service
environment for now.
Okay. So new
Oh
tags,
yes,
but okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do have another question. How are we supposed to communicate that we have to set these tags?
Mailing list, principally, basically use the official communication channel we have, so mailing list and Slack messages.
Okay.
Anywhere. We have, I think right now is like the next step is basically create maybe 2 or 3. Oh, you already test that in the policy staging account. I want to basically see more tests in one of the non-production organization unit and see what's happening. We're not in rush about this because we still we're still in the bootstrapping phase, especially regarding Bosco. So we're not in rush about this. Let's do the maximum test we have before we start communicating this. Mostly, I would say groups impact by this going to be those creating E2E tests. So that's why I think that's why Justin has this question. I'm thinking about also SIG scalability and other groups mainly use AWS for tests. So I'm not very worried about communication about this. If there's something failing at the creation, people will reach out to us. I would say we are used to firefighting CI, so I don't see this as a problem.
Okay, thank you. If anyone has another question or something, I will be happy to answer it.
Also, there's a mention of 2 tags. We can basically extend that list to add more tags if needed. So I think right now we want to basically start with something simple and see what's happening. Okay, next, Jiffy.
Hello. This is really just for the recording, but Friday afternoon, found out that the CNCF AWS account is going to run out of credits, which why am I bringing up the CNCF AWS account and not the K8s Infra account? Because it turns out that there were a bunch of jobs that were running from Kubernetes, but referencing or still under the root CNCF account. The two not real big, but the two main action items are there are two AWS accounts that need to be migrated under the K8s Infra bucket. That is in flight, I believe. And then the second thing is a bunch of KOps or COPS CI jobs were referencing the not old, but the CNCF AWS management account, which kind of makes sense because that was like the start of all of this, was that CNCF account. So we need to shift those jobs to point to the K8s Infra bucket. That's it. Again, like I've talked about it in Slack, I'm really just stating it for the notes and for the record.
On the accounts that need to be transferred, waiting for feedback from support. I can't get the account verified, but all the work is done. They just need to get back to me.
Any question regarding these updates?
I think we done.
Yes, so if there's like nothing else, I will give you back 23 minutes of your time. Going once, going twice, and that's it. Thank you for everyone coming. Hope to see you in KubeCon.
Enjoy KubeCon. See you later.